It's opening day on the PGA Tour, the Safeway Open in Napa, California. How about this from Morgan Hoffman? He started on 10. Here he is at the par 5 18th. His second shot from 250, and you got to watch it to believe it. Plenty of hang time. Morgan Hoffman still looking for his first PGA Tour victory. Maybe this will boost it. An albatross on day one for Hoffman. High fives from everybody. Golf Central starts right now.
Golf Central. Brought to you by Titleist.
As you would expect, plenty to discuss after day one of the PGA Tour season opener in Napa, California. Lisa Cornwell, Brandel Chambly, Nota Begay the third. Phil Mickelson, the headliner this week, playing in the kickoff event for the first time since 2001. And let's listen to what happened to Phil early on. Well, here he is at the first hole. That 2.5 footer, no good. So not really the start that he wanted there, guys.
I don't think that's the start anybody would want, but tries to make up for it here at the second hole from 8 feet and still not getting things moving in the right direction.
Well, it took him to the 6th hole to make a par. He started bogey, bogey, then went birdie, 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 and then made a par. Here at the 10th, this is a terrific shot from the left rough after getting to know the gallery pretty well. This one almost goes in. Really nothing new out of Phil Mickelson there. We've seen him do that a million times. But what transpired up on the green, well, was a completely different situation as we still see Phil setting up over this shot.
And he's going to back away. And now you're going to hear exactly what happened there.
I'll tell you, I'm gonna mark it, and I pulled it back about here, and then
You've addressed and set the club down behind the ball.
Then it did that.
There it is.
There you go.
There you
See
go.
that? So I couldn't have caused that. That's pretty fair. I didn't cause it, right? So do I just leave it there and putt it?
You play it from where it is.
Okay.
So remark it where it is, and so now you're going to play right there from where it moves.
Okay, so we're all good. Thank you. Cool.
So here's what happened and some changes to Rule 18-2B that went into place January 1, 2016. If a ball at rest moves after the player addresses it, the player is no longer automatically deemed to have caused the ball to move. A one-stroke penalty under Rule 18-2 will be applied only when the facts show that the player has caused the ball to move. As we flash back to the U.S. Open and what happened to Dustin Johnson, famously a little bit of a different situation here.
Well, yes, quite a bit. Phil obviously had addressed the ball, and his ball moved, and he was deemed not to have caused the ball to move. You can see Dustin Johnson's putter was in the air.
No, my ball before, my putter was in the air. Yeah. And it was inside the ball and it rolled backwards.
Okay, you hadn't grounded the club or anything, it just moved?
Yep.
Okay, you just played.
All right, so we all know that the rules of golf can be confusing sometimes, and they're changing constantly because mistakes happen and the USGA tries to get it right. But the difference between Dustin was he grounded it, and the rules official initially said that it wasn't a penalty. They re-looked at it after and said that he did cause it to move. But they said because of where the ball was for Phil, correct, that it was not his fault even though it did move. It was more the ground causing it.
Well, it used to be an automatic penalty. If you've grounded your club behind the ball and it moves, it was an automatic penalty. Now then, obviously, the facts have to show that you've caused the ball to move. What was interesting here is the interpretation, because Dustin Johnson's putter was still in the air and his ball moved, and he was deemed to have called it. The facts, according to them, showed the ball to have moved. If you look at what happened to Phil Mickelson today, I believe this was the proper interpretation of the rule. He clearly was addressing the ball. The putter wasn't in the air, and the ball moved, although we couldn't see it. And the facts, according to Phil, and the evidence clearly showed that he was not the cause of the ball to move, so he wasn't penalized. It was almost the exact opposite of what happened to Dustin Johnson.
Yeah, and that's one of the most, I guess, frustrating things about the game, and I think it's one of the things that prevents the game from growing is that the rules are often so hard for amateur golfers to get their arms around. In the professional ranks, we have an opportunity to bring in the rules officials, and they're the ones that make the final determination on how to progress. And in this particular case, I think they did get it right in the sense that there wasn't conclusive evidence. We didn't have the camera angles. There wasn't a close-up on the ball, and it was a determination through a discussion by Phil and the official. Boom, no penalty, let's move on, let's get playing.
So with this, they are putting a lot of trust in the player. It's more like the honor system because there wasn't conclusive evidence.
That's
correct?
right. Phil gave an explanation and then a demonstration of what actually happened, and clearly he wasn't deemed to have caused the ball to move. Wasn't exactly the case. There was a little bit more controversy at the U.S. Open, as I remember.
Yeah, it definitely worked out today for Phil Mickelson. Well, time now for today's Save presented by Geico. We pick things back up with Phil Mickelson here at the par 3 11th. His tee shot.
Oh my gosh. What are you doing?
Uncharacteristic of Phil Mickelson in this particular case. His strokes gained approach last year was one of the top 10 on the PGA Tour. He was also one of the top 10 on the PGA Tour in being able to scramble and recover.
Well, throughout his career, he has just been amazing to watch. Miraculous, really, just around the greens. The variety of shots he has, hinge and hold. He wrote a book about it, and well worth reading, well worth watching. Pick him up now at the 17th. This is his putt for birdie, and he would stay at 2 under par.
And here we are now.
Excuse me, now the 17th.
Now the 17th. 16th, 17th, they're close.
This is just start. Let's not get
right.
ahead of ourselves here. And again, Phil using that wedge to perfection. Just so comfortable with those wedges around the greens. Variety of different shots, has so many options, and never disappoints.
How impressive is that, though? And sometimes this is typical Phil Mickelson. 5 fairways out of 13 so far with 1 hole left to play, but still, he's in red numbers.
And he's playing a par 5. There's been a couple of eagles today, and the scoring average is 4.6. So at least, according to the field, a 40% chance Phil making birdie there.
We'll show you what Phil does on 18 in just a moment, but more highlights. Scott Piercy, he was one big, gigantic highlight today. Here at the par 4 17th, his 3rd from the back fringe.
And an interesting choice of clubs there. You see he's playing the ball back in a stance, hitting more down on it than he otherwise would, and it all worked out perfectly for him.
Now at the par 4 4th at 6 under at this point, Piercy's approach.
And what Mickelson didn't have an opportunity to do much today was attack from the fairway. Piercy, on the other hand, finds the fairway and then finds the right calculation and number with that short iron.
He would make that one to get to -7. He would birdie 5, now at the par 4 6th.
Well, he made 3 birdies in a row on his opening 9, and then turned 17, 18, and 1, made birdies, and then starts it at the 4th with a birdie, birdies the 5th and the 6th, and then here at the 9th.
And still at -9 at that point. And when it's going your way, guys, it is going your way, and it was definitely going Scott Piercy's way. A course record 62. He made 12 birdies in his round to fire that number. KC, he may be the hottest player on the planet right now. He finished second, and 4th in his last 3 starts on the PGA Tour, so watch out for Paul Casey. Patton Kinsire in good shape as well. Let's hear from the leader.
Felt like if I got on the green, I was going to have a good chance to make a birdie, and I was hitting good shots. You know, I really mishit 1 shot today, and you know, I just kind of turned it around real quick and stuffed it on the next hole and hit 2 really good shots into the par 5. Thought I made the eagle putt, just didn't break right at the hole, but you know, all in all, I'm excited.
Scott Piercy's no stranger to shooting low numbers, the most rounds of 62 or better on the PGA Tour since 2010. Well, that's a nice little trio there. Scott Piercy, Jimmy Walker, both with 6, and Jason Day with 4. It was quite the send-off for 5-time major champion Sae-Ri Pak in her native South Korea. We'll discuss a remarkable career and tell you how she single-handedly changed the game of golf forever. That's next on Golf Central.
Golf Central is brought to you by the Titleist Pro V1 and Pro V1X. Make a difference in your game. golfadvisor.com. Thousands of course reviews by golfers for golfers.